especially in an era where there was at times 10 teams in the league. So, like, in the league for more than, she's played 2.5 seasons. She's played 70 games. So, yeah, I think in general, I'm okay with that. Top two. Did not win enough rings. That being said, Courtney Vandersloot. 12 and a half assists per game in the play. I don't mind a lot of the stuff. I don't mind people celebrating Everbean. She is. Hilarious enough.
USA Today's top 10 all-time WNBA point guards list kicks off with Dawn Staley at number 10, and this reaction doesn't hold back, calling her drastically overrated for this specific list, separating her legendary coaching career from her actual on-court resume. That's a spicy way to open a ranking debate, and it sets the tone for exactly how blunt the rest of this breakdown is going to be.
They won, what was it, 4 in 7 years? 6 finals appearances. And obviously, I think she's a coach now for them. I'm surprised no team has hired her because there is a point guard bias with hiring former players. There's a big gap here. There is a big gap here between top 4 and the rest. I think Lindsay Whalen at 4 is fine. She's like our quarterback. Sylvia Fell said in 2018 when Whalen retired from the league. She earned 5 All-Star selections, 5 All-W honors, 8 finals appearances, ties record bronze for most in league history. Yeah.
Skylar Diggins at 9 gets a much warmer reception. One of the greatest players ever that did not win a ring, and there's real context here worth sitting with. She played in eras with as few as 10 teams in the league, when missing a title meant something different than it does heading into a 20-team league. That's a smart, historically grounded point about how championship scarcity has shifted over time.
Damn good 2-guard. But if she ever ends up getting in that point guard category, my guess is that Miles and Caitlin within 5 years are going to be, worst case scenario, top 4 is set and Miles and Caitlin are 5 and 6 very quickly. But yeah, that is pretty much.
The characterization here that Diggins is on paid leave and has flat out refused to play is worth double checking. Real reporting this season actually points to a legitimate right knee injury from an October surgery, tangled up with real frustration over a benching decision and unclear communication from the coaching staff. It's a genuinely messy situation, but refuse to play oversimplifies what's actually a mix of injury recovery and real role conflict.
I think in general, Caitlin at 7 is completely justified. I think peak for peak, if we're talking regular season peak for peak, I think peak Caitlin Clark's number 1. If we're talking overall, we can't forget that Chelsea Gray did basically not miss for an entire playoff run and they won a title. So that matters. But I'm okay with Caitlin Clark 7. I really am. She's going to break every single record. She's probably going to end her career at there's more talent than.
Becky Hammon at 8 gets an interesting justification. It's a weak position in general for the 1BA, which is a real, fair point about point guard depth historically in this league. Even for someone who, as noted here, never played for Team USA and built her international career with Russia instead.
She was drafted by the Sun 2014, spent 2 years, 5 years in LA, and one of her rings in LA, she was backup, but still. She is legitimately one of the best shot makers there's ever been. She is. Hilariously enough, she's averaging career high assists this year. But
and here's where this reaction gets genuinely interesting. I'm actually okay with Caitlin Clark at 7, acknowledging she's only played 2.5 seasons and 70 games, which is real verifiable context that makes a top 10 all-time placement this early in a career notably aggressive by any normal standard.
Sloot has averaged the most ever. But you're even seeing it now, the Sky are significantly better when Courtney Vandersloot plays. Even off an ACL, she's still pretty good. So 3, fine. Chelsea Gray 2, yeah, she's 4 titles. she doesn't play point.
But then the take gets even bolder. If we're talking regular season peak for peak, I think peak Caitlin Clark's number 1. While acknowledging Chelsea Gray's playoff dominance and championship pedigree matters for the overall conversation. That's a genuinely nuanced distinction between peak performance and career completeness that a lot of ranking debates skip right past.
Was very good at her peak. Oh, I don't know. Like, she didn't win a title. And I think stats-wise and impact, even in however many games, even in 70 games, I'd still put Caitlin Clark at Therese Weatherspoon. But I think you can make the argument Diggins above both. I don't know. I'm okay with that.
Teresa Weatherspoon at 6 gets real pushback. I really don't know. She belongs ahead of Clark, especially since she never won a title, and, in this reaction's view, should probably rank behind Candace Parker, even across a smaller sample of relevant seasons. That's a fair, stats-grounded disagreement with the original list.
No matter what position that is. Lindsay Whalen, yeah, I agree. She was the floor general of those Lynx teams. She won 4 titles. And like the fact is they could have won more. They genuinely could have won more. They won, was it 4 in 7 years? 6 finals appearances.
Ticha Penicheiro at 5 draws the sharpest criticism in the whole video. Sure, she was one of the best passers ever, with legendarily flashy highlight tape, but a career 6.1 points per game average makes it very difficult to justify ranking her above Skylar Diggins. That's a completely fair statistical challenge to the original ranking.
Peak for peak. Yeah, I like it. As here, she's averaged 16 points and 5.3 assists in her career. She's currently on sabbatical from the Chicago Sky. She's on paid leave right now, because she's just flat out just refused to play by the looks of things. By the looks of things, yeah, it is.
And this is where the reaction lays out its own real counter-ranking, predicting Vandersloot, Whalen, and Gray as a clear top 4, with a massive gap between them and everyone else, including Clark and Diggins at 5 or 6. That's a bold, specific prediction worth testing against however the rest of this list actually plays out.
Like the fact is they could have won more. They genuinely could have won more. They won, was it 4 in 7 years? 6 finals appearances. And obviously, I think she's a coach now for them. I'm surprised no team has hired her because there is a point guard bias with hiring former players. There's a big gap here. There is a big gap here between top 4 and the rest. I think Lindsay Whalen at 4 is fine. She's like our quarterback. Sylvia Fowles said in 2018, Whalen.
The Vandersloot assist record breakdown here is legitimately sharp. Her famous double-digit assist season was actually 9.94, rounded up to the reported 10, and this reaction argues the real single-season assist record should go to her 9.2 mark from a full season, rather than a shortened 12-game bubble sample where Clark once averaged 12. That's real nuance about what record actually means depending on sample size.
Like, she's somebody who, again, never played for USA, played for Russia. Like, I don't know. 8, yeah, I'll give you that. It's a weak position in general for the WNBA, so 8, I'm fine with that. Oh, I'm okay. I'm actually okay with Caitlin Clark at 7. Like, this is one of those things where Caitlin obviously hasn't.
Chelsea Gray at 2 draws a genuinely fair, balanced take. 4 championships, one of the best shot makers the position has ever seen, but also an honest acknowledgement that she barely plays true point guard anymore and has lost a step athletically. Crediting her peak while being honest about her current role is exactly the kind of nuance good rankings debates need.
And also, there were 12 games last season. I don't think it counts. Caitlin Clark averaged 12 assists a game over a 12-game sample size. But she did have a season averaging 9.2, which for me is the real most assists ever, most assists per game ever in a real season, not a 12-game bubble. But yes, absolutely in a real season.
And it closes with Sue Bird at number 1, the all-time assists leader, 13 All-Star selections, 9 All-Star starts, before pivoting into real speculation about where Paige Buchers ends up long-term, given she's currently playing off-ball next to Jessica Shepard. That's a legitimately interesting forward-looking question about how today's guards will eventually get ranked once their careers are further along.
Things now with Chelsea Gray, where it's like, you can see, if you look back at her old highlights when she was never fast, but she could run. She can't run anymore. But yeah, 2 I think is fine. 2 is fine because my guess is that numero uno is, it's Sue Bird. Sue Bird,